If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Open House Real Estate Network. My name is Zach, and today we're going to be talking with David Marple. He is a local resident and realtor in downtown Lynchburg, Virginia. So we're talking about downtown specifically. David, thanks for coming on the show today. I'm curious about what you love about living in downtown Lynchburg.
Thanks for having me, Zach. I love that this is it's a small city, and I love how much outdoor space is here and just how many friendly folks there are in our city.
Okay, I like the good Southern hospitality type things. So
Yeah.
What's the population? If you know the population of just Lynchburg, that's fine. But if you know about how many people are in downtown, that'd be helpful too.
The Census Bureau has it roughly at 80,000. We have quite a few college students that fluctuate in and out of the city. And we're near a couple of counties that aren't in those numbers. So I would say it's probably half of that in downtown.
Okay.
And half of that in the rest of the city.
And does the downtown area specifically feel, like a big city, or you mentioned it's small? So would you say it's more suburban, or what is it? What's the overall feel?
So when you come over the mountains, and you end up, as you're driving into Lynchburg, it kind of surprises you. There's a number of, mid-rise and high-rise buildings, yet you can still see, empty lots from where you are. So it's definitely a city, as opposed to just a couple of small buildings, which, would be a town.
Gotcha. But no like skyscrapers or anything like that.
I think our tallest is like 15 stories. It's the Allied Arts building. So the Bank of the James building is pretty tall too.
Huh. That's not bad.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So what's the, I'm assuming there's more like condos and stuff in the downtown area. What would you say is like the median price of a, residential property?
Yeah, to purchase a condo downtown, you're looking anywhere between 175 and 600.
Okay, it's a pretty decent range. So for that 175, are you looking at like a studio or
studio?
Okay,
yeah, definitely a studio.
Okay, well, cool. I want to cover economics. I'm curious because Lynchburg is kind of a diverse in the types of buildings that you find, and probably the types of people too. What are people doing for work, and where are they going to do it?
Yeah, we actually have quite a few industries around Lynchburg. Lynchburg's been kind of a hub for 100 years of different development. Where I live downtown, one of the buildings very near to me was an early Coca-Cola building.
Oh, cool.
So we have some roots with that. There's some Johnson & Johnson stuff nearby. We actually have BWXT and Riva, which both do nuclear, like our engineers that are near here. We're close enough to DC that we have some firms that do programming and computer stuff for the government. Yeah, we're pretty diverse. And then there's a lot of people. I think Lynchburg's largest employer is actually Liberty University, which is nearby.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So how long does it take to get into DC from where you're at?
It'll take you about 3 hours to drive there and about 3 hours to take the train.
Okay. I've heard some people make that commute every day, which is crazy to me.
I sure hope not.
I hope.
But yes.
Man, that's crazy. But again, with that, DC being the nation's capital, it's not too far. So that's really cool. You mentioned some history about the Coca-Cola building. Is there anything
Mhm.
else that's really unique to Lynchburg that's worth mentioning in regards to history?
Sure. Well, we're on the James River, so the city of Lynchburg actually, at one point in time, was the nation's capital for a day before, um, some other things. When during the Civil War, the North was marching on the South, and they met in Appomattox, which is not very far from here. The surrender at Appomattox. If they had made it here to Lynchburg, they would have commandeered all their basically everything from the South. So,
Wow, gotcha.
yeah, there used to be a canal system from here all the way to Richmond. So you
Really?
could take a boat, filled with tobacco to Richmond or to the ports, and then you could have it pulled back by mules up the canal system.
That's pretty
So,
cool. I feel bad for the mules, but
hey,
that's
you
awesome.
know,
Good thing we're not mules. Man. Well, that's cool. That's some
hmm
interesting history. There's a lot of cool stuff to
yeah,
learn about in Virginia and Maryland. So, you mentioned something about a university. So I'm curious about that.
yeah.
And so what other schools are available in the area?
Sure. Well, we're very near Liberty University, which is the largest Christian university, I think, in the world. I'd have to look up stats on that. We're near the University of Lynchburg, or at least used to be Lynchburg College. And then Randolph Macon is nearby as well.
Hmm.
Well, now Randolph. Sorry, they changed their name as well. And then Sweetbriar is another university, which is not too far. And that one's an all women's university. And then we also have Central Virginia Community College, where a lot of the locals will go there and then they can transfer to any of the state schools.
Wow. Okay. And then
hmm
if you're living in downtown Lynchburg, what high school are you going to be going to?
Yeah, you're going to be going to EC Glass High School, which is, maybe 7, 8 minute drive, if
Okay.
that.
Cool. It's
Yeah.
good for people to know so they know what to research.
hmm
I'm kind of going away from logistics now. I'm curious about just like everyday living, um, especially entertainment. Like, let's say you're a young family, you have a couple kids or a dog or whatever. What do you find families doing in Lynchburg?
Yeah, we have a pretty diverse trail system. It's the Blackwater Creek Trail System. It runs through the city. I think it's about 100 acres of park. And then we actually have the Academy Center of Arts, which is a downtown structure that does a lot of brings in a lot of concerts throughout the year, and performances. It's a historic theater, um, and they do a lot of diverse shows. So a
Yeah.
lot of different things there. Um, During the summer months, a lot of people will float the James, or they'll kayak, or they'll actually ride down in bateaus. The French boat.
Yeah.
It's called a bateau, and they will do. There's a bateau festival near Father's Day weekend. It's about a week-long process where they take these all the way from here to Richmond. There's
Hmm.
another fun. There's a cycling event out towards the side of the city that is called Storming a Thunder Ridge, where people will they'll cycle 100 miles, and they'll ride from Lynchburg out to the Blue Ridge Parkway, go up the mountain towards the Peaks of Otter, and then come back. Um,
Dang.
and so that's a pretty sweet bike ride. It's a great area, lots of wonderful views, and a lot of parks like that around the city. So the old city cemetery, which is here in downtown, has uh, basically Union and Confederate soldiers buried there, and they talk about a lot of the history that happened with the Civil War,
Wow.
um, and things like early vaccines and how those were administered and what people did. And they have some different talking buildings that tell you about like railroad companies and such that go through there. And let's see, downtown we have a park that's right here. It's the Riverfront Park, and they've started having different festivals there, like Oktoberfest was just recently
Gotcha.
done during the summer. They show movies at the park, a lot
Okay.
of that sort of stuff.
That's cool. So even if you don't want to go all the way out and do all those other things, you have, park right in the middle of downtown. So that's
Yeah, well, the park is right here, and the bike trail is right here. So
oh,
the
cool.
Blackwater Creek Bike Trail. So they both are from here. So you
Yeah.
can kind of do both, whatever.
Well, yeah, you covered,
Yeah.
quite a few different like events and stuff to do outdoors and stuff for families. So those are some of the last things that I typically cover. So I am curious, what about like a night out, date night? What are some options that you have for like food and other activities that a couple might do?
Sure. Well, we actually have a fun rock climbing gym downtown. That's kind of fun to do.
There we go.
There's quite a few restaurants that have just really stellar food that are. One of them's called Rooftop 7. It's on the 7th floor of one of the buildings. It looks out from the bluff over top of the river. The Virginian Hotel downtown actually has a restaurant at the top of their building as well. It's called Skyline. They all seem to take the name of the top of the top of the building that they're at, right? What you see.
Nothing else to do.
We've gone to the Academy, like I mentioned, for date nights because they have some great shows there that are really just adult friendly or not necessarily geared towards the kids.
Man, David, this was cool. It was really cool to, I've covered Lynchburg before, but not so much with the downtown stuff. So it's cool to learn about all that. Thank you for coming on the show today and sharing your knowledge with us.
Sure.